My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of Season 1 of Schmigadoon. Now, Schmigadoon is a show I was looking forward to watching just because I heard about the premise of this couple who wander into this mysterious magical town where everyone and everything is always singing. And I'm just like, okay, I like that. It could be an Enchanted type story, or the reverse of Enchanted. And I'm just like, okay, you know what? That premise sounds really good. Let's see what they do with it. And what they do is create a complete pile of crap. This show is awful. I really hated it. Where to even begin? Well, let's begin with what I did like. Shit, I got nothing. I like the premise and that's about it. Okay, now on to the negatives. Keegan-Michael Key. I do like him as an actor. I just feel like he hasn't really done anything great since leaving Key and Peele, and he's just not good here. I don't think he gives a good performance. I don't think he ever feels believable in the role. Cecily Strong she's terrible. She has no screen presence whatsoever. I think she's a very bad actress. She lacks any bit of personality or charisma. She isn't funny. I did not like her performance in this show, whatever. Christian Chenoweth, who I've seen in many movies before, she's awful in this show. You know, she's the over-the-top church lady who everyone in the town hates, and she's just, you don't buy her this character. It's just, I saw her performance was absolutely just horrendous. I get that it's meant to be this over-the-top musical land, but nothing about that performance clicked for me. The only performance that I did like was ariana debossi. I hope I pronounced that correctly, but I actually thought she brought a nice warmth to this show. I'm not going to say it's a great performance, but it's definitely the one performance that I enjoyed more than the others. Where else do we begin? Well, the beginning of this show is an absolute mess. It begins for like 5 minutes, and then the main couple is already in Schmigadoon. So the show is just like flashback, flashback, flashback. Okay, now they're in Schmigadoon, and it's just like, wait, what? Already? Like, you've got to establish the characters first before putting them in this strange land. Why would they do it like that? Like, within 6 minutes? Like, if you're going to tell this as a TV show, it would probably be a better idea to establish these characters, the relationship between the two of them, and then the first episode ends with them appearing in Schmigadoon. That just seems like common sense to me. But for them to do it the way that they did is just baffling awful. So in order to flesh out the characters further, every episode begins with a flashback of their time before Schmigadoon, and it's supposed to have some sort of emotional resonance, and it just really did not. I never cared for these two as a couple. I never liked either of their characters. Like, there's one scene where the dude, he's upset about something, so his girlfriend's just like, well, you know what they say, it's a doggy-dog word. And he's just like, what? And she's like, it's a doggy-dog word. And then he starts laughing at her, like, the saying is dog-eat-dog word. And, you know, I thought it was going to be like one of those cute moments where, you know, they're teasing each other, and she's like, what? No, it's not. And they start joking around. But they just took themselves so seriously, and they got into an actual fight over it. And I'm just like, yeah, I really don't care for this couple. And, you know, the whole thing of Schmigadoon is that it's supposed to be this magical musical place. But the show begins with her kicking a vending machine and like 2,000 chocolate bars going flying off of it. So they already established a fantasy element to the show. So when they got to Schmigadoon, I'm just like, well, what's the difference? We've already seen candy flying out of vending machines already, so, you know, that just didn't work for me. And like I said, I just didn't like these characters. The main dude character is so unbelievably stupid that it just constantly takes you out of it. Like, oh, we can't leave Schmigadoon until we discover true love? Well, I guess I have to leave my girlfriend and go off looking for someone else. That's definitely going to do it. And then at one point, this dude's just like, hey, well, you know what they say about true love? It's not something you find, it's something you have to work at. And then he's just like, whoa, sorry, I just saw someone, I have to go. And I don't know if they were thinking that's really funny, but I never found this character felt like a real person. And I never found any of those flaws to be endearing. I just found it to be frustrating. Like, it just, it felt so poorly written. And the fact that every character constantly says what they're thinking, it just makes all the pros and the cons of each and every character so obvious. There's not an ounce of depth or nuance present within this show. You know, just everyone is so straightforward to the point where it's just like, man, this writing is just awful. And the main girl, I don't remember their names. I didn't like her as a character either. I thought, once again, I don't like Cecily Strong at all. I think her performance is really bad, but I just think there's nothing memorable about her character. Her character seems to think, oh, Josh is the worst, and yeah, he acts like a complete idiot, but she's no better throughout. And yes, okay, in the end, she does discover that, but it's just like, who am I supposed to root for? Like, there's supposed to be some sort of sensibility in these kind of movies. Like, when Harry met Sally, you know, when Harry says all that stuff to Sally, and Sally slaps him, you're like, oh, I want them to be together, but at the same time, you understand why she slapped him in that moment, but you also understand why he said what he said. And yeah, you're frustrated, but you really want them to be together. Yeah, there's just none of that here. I don't care if I's a character, I don't care if they get together. And the fact that this show is a musical, and the music is as bad as it is, oh, the music in this show is not remotely good. It has all the proper ingredients to make a really good musical. But the actual lyrics and the music behind it just, no. There's not a single memorable song in the bunch. They all sound so desperately hard, like they're trying to recreate songs from the 40s and 50s, but they just did not succeed. And the show is also not even remotely funny. I laughed at one time. There's one scene at the very end of the show where a character's up in a tree and another character's like, come on down, and he's expecting him to climb down the tree, but he just jumps into him. That was the only time I laughed in this show. Other than that, every joke falls completely flat. And let's talk about this ending. I'm probably going to talk about spoilers slightly here, so heads up, but if you don't know how it ends, then you haven't seen any story ever. But it does end on a note saying that true love is good. I like that message. It's a really good message. It's not something you find. True love is something you work at. Something you have to put time and effort into. I agree with that. But then this show decided to just add a bunch of other stuff. Now, the mayor of this town was clearly gay from the very start. It's clearly how they wrote him from the very beginning. And there's one moment where the girl in this show is just like, you need to tell everyone the truth. So then he tells everyone the truth. And that he's gay and that he's proud of it. Okay, fine. But then because of that one action, they try to make it sound like that these two characters brought so much positivity and good to this town because of one scene that only she did. What else did they contribute to this town? They got there, they fought all the time, they complained about the music, which that joke got old real quick. What else did they add to this town? Nothing! So they're just like, oh, wow, you changed this old conservative town and turned it liberal real good. Great job. But all they did was that one thing involving the mail. And then just to just to kind of go off of that, then all these people are just like, I'm going to embrace who I really am. I injure myself to gain attention. I'm going to embrace that. No, that's not something you should embrace. You're an attention seeker and you clearly need help. And then one of the other girls is just like, I think I'm a socialist and I'm going to embrace that. Please don't. It's just like this show it's clearly a liberal show. They're clearly criticizing the conservative movement within this town, and they just felt like they had to go all out at the very end. And no, these characters did not add anything good to this town. Her telling the mayor to come out and him doing so, okay, that's one thing. But everything else just felt like, oh, we're not political enough, we gotta double down, and it just took me out of it. Look, this show is abysmal. There's one decent performance, and I like the premise behind it, but that's all I can say about it. It's only 6 episodes long, and I had a hard time getting through it. Like, it's 3 hours long in total, and I had a hard time getting through it. That's how bad this show is. It's not funny. The music is awful. The characters are terribly written. Almost all the performances fall completely flat. Good premise, terrible, terrible execution. So I'm going to go ahead and give Schmigadoon 1.5 adoon out of 10 adoon. If you want to subscribe after that, I do not blame you. But, did you watch Schmigadoon? What did you think of Schmigadoon? Let me know in the comment section down below adoon. And make sure you like adoon, comment adoon, subscribe adoon. Stay tuned for some more videos adoon. Cabin out adoon.